Erika Donalds is in studio, chair of the America First Policy Institute Center for Education Opportunity and founder of Optima Ed. Good to see you again, Erika. Good morning to you.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So you heard from the Secretary there of Education. I wanted to show you what the critics say right now, specifically Justice Sotomayor, who gave a lengthy dissent, but we'll just show you a piece of it here. But she argued that this hands the executive branch too much power, risking leaving students without vital federal civil rights protections, loan support, or special needs programs while litigation continues. What is your reaction to that dissent?
Well, what we know is that the department has not worked in its core functions for many years. As you know, I was a school board member in Florida. I spoke to parents all of the time who were waiting on the department to respond. And yet, when Linda McMahon, a seasoned executive, came in and evaluated the department, she believed and still believes that at least 1,300 could be cut immediately without any impact on services. And so I very much support the Supreme Court's ruling on this. Of course, an executive has the right to make things leaner and more efficient and serve the people better if they can do so while still following what Congress has allocated for the department to do. As far as I can tell, and what I've heard, this hasn't affected a single school, a single parent, and most importantly, not a single student since these individuals were laid off many months ago with very generous packages to go with it.
We've also heard from the secretary that perhaps they would shift some of the programs to different departments, right? So the labor department's going to take something on, or even the small business association. So is that an option still that would be something new to try, to your point? I mean, actually improve the situation.
And even this week, the department announced a partnership with the Department of Labor when it comes to the workforce efforts. You know, the American people have been paying for two different departments to work on workforce readiness in the country. Why should we do that? It just makes sense that the Department of Labor has so much investment into workforce readiness that the preparation for what we need in the workforce is done by the Department of Labor. For example, we've talked about student loans. It does not make sense for the Department of Education to be managing $1 trillion loan portfolio. That belongs in Treasury. SBA has also been mentioned. But where can this be more efficient? The Department of Education was a gift to the teachers' unions. It is not a federal level department. It's not the role of the federal government. And so the things that need to stay can go elsewhere.
Yeah, obviously it hasn't worked on the whole surface of, again, educating children and seeing scores rise. In fact, we've seen the opposite. We've seen decline. Now it's time for a change. And obviously it went through the Supreme Court to see that downsizing. Yesterday, the House Committee on Education and Workforce held a hearing on focusing on allegations of rising anti-Semitism in higher education. Here's one of the line of questioning. Listen to this.
A member of the KKK who wished the deaths of Black Americans to speak at Georgetown?
No, but we endeavor to have speakers from many different sides to
so KKK member in today's environment, you would invite, you'll give him.
I don't think we would. We do want to have.
This is very specific. This is very This is a hate. You remember what the KKK used to do to Black people, right?
Yes.
Okay. So would you give him the platform to do that?
No, I don't believe.
Okay. Why would the university would disallow it? Why would university allow by faculty or students to invite Palestinian anti-Semitic bigots?
Representative Owens there, Burgess Owens, speaking to the president of Georgetown. Very straightforward talk, and really made you think in that moment about anti-Semitism and linking that to who you let speak on your campus.
Yeah, excellent job by Representative Burgess and others in that hearing. Infuriating to watch, however, because there is no justification for the hypocrisy that we have seen on these college campuses, where, of course, they would not invite someone who says death to African Americans. And yet there are professors, not just speakers one time, but professors in these institutions of higher education who have said such things about the Jewish people and yet are still employed and sometimes even being praised by those very college presidents. And so it was great. You know, sunshine is often the best disinfectant. We've been bringing them into the light ever since Elise Stefanik asked those very pointed questions last year. The One Big Beautiful Bill actually brought some accountability to these universities with taxing endowments and the like. And so President Trump is keeping his promise that he is not going to tolerate anti-Semitism on campus.